And away we go. It's Sega month, just like I was saying. Let's kick things off with the hippest game of 1994. Certain reviewers in air quotes may insist that Sonic was never cool and has always been a laughingstock, but they don't remember when Sonic was the height of cool young people's media. They used to have commercials for this shit on MTV. They had like rappers talking about it and stuff. This was the shit in 1994. So this scene marks the first appearance of Knuckles, by the way. But you probably already knew that, though. You don't need me to explain these things to you. It's fucking Sonic. Everybody knows how these games works. There was a speed power-up in the back, but I deliberately skipped over it because we would have just run into the Rhino and lost our momentum. Here's a bonus, by the way. Let's go.
Say it.
If you recognize where that music's from, you qualify for a veteran's discount. I've never been particularly good at those bonus stages. Looking at this now in post, I can see where I screwed up. You gotta box them off in little squares, and I tried to take on 2 squares at a time. And long-term Sonic veterans saw that mistake coming a mile away. They're probably thinking, oh. So, 2 minutes into this now, and I'm starting to realize that there's very little that I can actually say about this game that hasn't been said before. I mean, pretty much everybody out there has done a Let's Play of this at some point or another, so to keep things unique, let's talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. You're probably thinking, okay, where did that come from? Well, personally, I don't really have much of a stake in either side of the conflict, to tell you the truth. I mean, I live an ocean away from all of that, and if I were to take a stance on it, I feel like I would just lose a bunch of fans. That's what we call a volatile issue, where no matter what side you take on the issue, you're going to piss off a lot of people. I know during the election of 2016, they were talking about a 2-state solution, but I guess that kind of fell by the wayside because that election turned out very differently than everybody was expecting. So that issue's just kind of on the back burners, so to speak. Why are we talking about this? Let's at least try to stay on the topic of Sega, seeing how this is Sega month after all. Okay, I got something. Did you know that back during Sega's heyday, when they actually made consoles, they had some seedy bigs, yep, that's what it was, some seedy business practices, and they would treat their employees very poorly. They had this one thing they would do. They had this room in their offices called the isolation room, and if you pissed off management, they would basically just force you into this dimly lit room where there was just nothing in there, and they would keep you in there for pretty much the whole day, and if you tried to leave, you would get fired. There was some public outcry about that. But here's the fun part where you try to keep the sign in the air as long as you can. But yeah, they would just keep you in a dark room all day as punishment for going against management. Nowadays, in the age of outrage, I feel like that would get a lot more attention. I cannot believe this is happening. Oh my God. How could they? I just don't know. This just baffles me. It's up to me, AssButt223 on Twitter, to fix this situation by being unpleasant to other people on Twitter who are also powerless to fix this. Oops, I missed a sphere. Fuck. Well, this is already... this is already shot to hell, but let's just keep going. See where it goes. Maybe they'll just give it to me anyway, just as a consolation prize.
That is literally impossible in this game. Why would you even say that?
So anywho, the pseudo 3D in these bonus segments was very impressive for the time. And you know what else is very impressive? The fact that Nikocado Avocado is still alive. I mean, good God, what the hell's going on there? Didn't he used to be like a normal dude who didn't do mukbangs or whatever they call them? Didn't he used to be famous for some other reason? It's just sad. But anyway, yeah, the pseudo 3D in that segment was a hardware pusher, as it were. Something that would have been more common on the Sega 32X if they decided to support it more. Gosh, Sega certainly made some unusual decisions there. Well, I'm not the first person to say this, but I think if they had just stuck to one thing, they would have been in a much better position. Either just make the 32X your main focus for 2 years until you had an actual presentable game system, or just have no 32X at all and take those 32X games like Knuckles Chaotix and make them Saturn games instead. That way it would have had a stronger launch lineup and also the fan base wouldn't have been divided. But I don't know nothing, I'm just an armchair businessman. It's very easy to say these things nearly 32 years later after the chips are down and we already know how things would have played out had they been different. The business history of early video games. Things are nowhere near as interesting in the console wars anymore. Nobody ever makes crazy, outlandish decisions. It's just this... what's the word I'm looking for? This horizontal black box plays the same games as this other horizontal black box. There is no difference between the two. Well, I guess that's not entirely accurate in this generation because now we've got a vertical black box and a horizontal white box, so I guess there's some differences at least. And with all of Microsoft... why can I not talk today? I think my blood sugar's just getting low. I think I've got some sort of undiagnosed diabetes, and if I don't eat enough food, I start to speak incorrectly and stop being coherent. But anyway, with all of Microsoft's buyouts this generation, it's at least making things interesting again. We can get to the point where we say this box has this range of exclusive games and this other one has this different range of exclusive games. The consoles are starting to be interesting again. Each one has a unique thing to offer. That's not what the people on social media want. They just want everything to be the same as everything else because they've got no imagination. But fuck them, they don't know. To make things interesting again. I am missing all of the... Well, it don't matter now. This is just embarrassing. How embarrassing. Ah, yes, that video is a classic. Back in high school, I showed that to all my buddies, and thankfully they were the type of people who could appreciate that sort of video. I feel like 95% of people would just be all, I don't think we should be friends anymore. You're like showing me weird videos where it's like Sonic, but he has a human face? I don't know what this is. The life of an artist is that of a very lonely person. No one understands you. Mongoose 1 billion was an average kid that no one understands. Ah, dearie. So, fire definitely seems to be the theme of this level. Whoops, we're stuck. That's not supposed to happen. Sonic games, whether they be 2D or 3D, always have that one little odd, quirky moment where, that's not part of the thing. What the fuck is going on? This is the worst game I've ever played. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more hard-hitting Sonic commentary. So much of the Sonic YouTube sphere is just worthless, including this. But I mean, I am trying. Uh-oh, here comes the big scary man. You saw him surfing through the parallax trees in the background there.
Let's kick his teeth in.
Oh, whoops. Shit. Well, not to worry. We've got the magic of editing. So this one's fairly straightforward. Just ram Sonic's head into Eggman's undercarriage over and over again. And 1,000 rings shall be yours. That sucks. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty easy. Especially with Tails, because he's got his own hitboxes on him, so you can do double damage. Fancy schmancy. I knew a kid in school who was an expert on Sonic lore, and he had some super long-winded explanation for those animals that you break out of the capsules like you just saw back then. The Eggman's trying to take the animals and put them inside robots and brainwash them so they can fight you. And actually, I think that is canonical. I think that's officially part of the Sonic lore. He was a deep Sonic lore expert.